Hello, I'm Daniela. This is episode 4 of Historical Paranormal. In this episode, we'll look at the origins of the Wendigo, Jack Fiddler, and Swift Runner. The Wendigo derives from Native American lore. Different tribes in the Great Lakes region refer to this monster as Wendigo, Windigo, Witico, and Wee-Tigo. Wendigo translates into the evil spirit that devours mankind. It is said that the Wendigo is created when a human resorts to cannibalism, and they are cursed to become a monster. Others describe the creature as a spirit that possesses a person, turning them into a Wendigo. Usually the possession starts slow, with sleep deprivation from tormenting nightmares, odors only the victim can smell, and a burning in the legs and feet that makes them so hot they end up running into the woods mad and naked. Most times, it's the last anyone sees of them, but if the individual manages to return, they return completely insane. Those who display traits of greed, gluttony, and excess might were said to be more susceptible to the spirit's possession. Some say the first Windigo was the result of a hunter resorting to cannibalism during a cold, harsh winter. The Windigo is said to stand over 15 feet tall, possess a skeletal, lanky frame. Sometimes the creature is described as having sallow skin that stretches tight over its bones. Other times, it's described as being extremely hairy with matted ash-gray fur. His eyes are large like an owl, sunken and glowing. His tongue is long. He's sometimes said to be missing lips or toes, and he has razor-sharp, jagged yellow fangs and nails. The Wendigo hisses when it breathes, and is said to have footprints of blood. Some versions of the Wendigo describe him possessing the ability to run at high speeds, while others claim he staggers. Others describe it as a disembodied spirit without form. It is said he has the ability to mimic human voices to lure people into his trap. It is believed the Wendigo is cursed to wander the earth, forever seeking something to eat to fulfill his appetite of human flesh. It is said after it consumes a person, it grows in size, proportionate to whomever it's last devoured. It is said the longer the Wendigo walks the earth, the more powerful and strong it becomes. The Wendigo gains the power to manipulate weather, call upon darkness before sunset, manipulate other predators of the forest to attack on command, and has the ability to heal itself. If the Wendigo cannot find food, it is thought it starves to death. The Wendigo parallels other cryptids such as Bigfoot or Sasquatches or werewolves. It is said that the Wendigo resides in cold climates, in the forests near the Great Lakes region, near the Atlantic coast. Northern Ontario, near the Cave of Windigo, are popular areas to see him. Around the town of Kenora, a Wendigo is said to have been spotted by traders, trackers, and trappers for decades. Others believe the Wendigo roams the woods and prairies of northern Minnesota and Canada. The Wendigo was said to have been sighted in Roseau, Minnesota in the 1800s and early 1920s. Each time he appeared, a death followed. The Algonquians referred to this creature as the spirit of lonely places. There have been a number of ceremonies performed over the years by the Ojibwe and Cree tribes, who took tales of the Wendigo seriously, and they were done, and a ceremonial dance was done to encourage cooperation and moderation during times of harsh weather and to ward off the spirit. Jack Fiddler was a Cree Indian chief and medicine man who was known for his powers of hunting and defeating Wendigos. He claims to have killed at least 14 of these creatures. Some of the creatures he slayed were said to be sent from enemy shamans. Others were members of his own band who had fallen under the curse of the evil spirit. Fiddler was often asked by family members to kill the infected before they turned into a Wendigo. Peter Flett, Jack Fiddler's own brother, was turned after food ran out on a trading expedition. In 1807, Jack's last and final murder resulted in him and his brother Joseph being arrested by Canadian authorities for the murder of a Cree Indian woman. Jack was 87 at the time. Jack took his own life before he could be tried, but his brother Joseph pled guilty as his accomplice and was tried and sentenced to life in prison. Joseph died 3 days later in prison before he was pardoned. Their claim was that the Cree woman they had killed was possessed by the Wendigo spirit, and they were just defending their tribe members from her. Another famous case involving Wendigo is Swift Runner. Swift Runner, in the winter of 1878 to 1879, was a Cree Indian man who was married and a father of 6 who were starving. His eldest son was the first to die. It is said Swift succumbed to the psychosis and ate his own son. His appetite grew and he killed and consumed the rest of his family. despite the fact that there was an emergency food supply available just 25 miles away at the Hudson's Bay Company Post. He was later executed by the authorities of Fort Saskatchewan after he confessed to the murders. Since the 1800s and 1920s, sightings of the Wendigo have declined. Some suggest these stories derive from real warnings against cannibals who, as a result of the extreme weather conditions, turned to cannibalism. European settlers view tales of the creature as a condition referred to as Wendigo psychosis. The syndrome created an intense craving for human flesh with fear of becoming a cannibal. The psychosis was said to occur in people living around the Great Lakes of Canada and United States. Usually the Wendigo psychosis set in the winter when people were isolated by heavy snow for long periods of time. Symptoms included poor appetite, nausea, and vomiting. The individual would then believe to be transformed into a Wendigo and crave eating other people around them. Yet, they were extremely fearful of becoming a cannibal. Native healers would try to quell the transformation. If the attempt failed, oftentimes the person would begin to act antisocial and violent to those around them. Whether the Wendigo is an actual creature, spirit, or a form of psychosis, this creature continues to be a popular theme in modern horror books and films, and is a part of paranormal history. I hope that you enjoyed this episode and that you'll like, share, and subscribe. And what do you think? Do you believe the Wendigo is a real entity that prowls the forest of the Great Lakes region? And let me know what other historical, paranormal cases in history or cryptids you would like me to cover next.